tonight I had a conversation with my very good friend, Michelle Antoinette. We went out on a double date the other night, and when we're out, we talk Arbonne all the time and having some great conversation. And we both realized how we have kind of, I know I'll speak for me, really stopped talking about skills. You know, I don't even know if I talked about skills once last year. I feel like there was so much about mindset and, you know, whether how to use social media and all these other things, but really getting back to the nitty gritty of the skills you need to build your business. So I decided to let's use, especially the start of this year, to get back to the basics of how to build and review. I'm telling you, the review is so good, guys. Going back to this bad boy right here, GoPro. You know, reading through it today, just prepping for the call, it's like you see things that you've never seen before, and you see it in a different way because you're a different person, right? So highly recommend you guys get the book, listen to the audio, YouTube this man, YouTube, GoPro, Eric Worre. He has so much training online, but highly recommend you guys do that. But I came across, someone posted on Facebook, and I snapshotted it, and then where did it go? Shoot, I think I'm gonna find it on my phone. But it was something, oh, if you're not willing to learn, no one can help you. If you are determined to learn, no one can stop you, right? And I really want all of us to remember that there's nothing wrong. Like when you feel like your business isn't growing, there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with Arbonne. There's nothing wrong with our products. There's nothing wrong with the people you're prospecting. At the end of the day, you just need to get better, right? And we just need to get better and hone our skills. And Jim Rohn says that. He says, don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. And we all need to dig deeper. Like if I'm going to participate in a race and I want to win the race, I don't want to just wish that people get slower. I want to wish that I get faster, right? Right? It's like, that was kind of good. I just sort of thought that.
Yeah, it was really good.
But I want to get faster, right? I want to work on me getting stronger and not just wait for everybody around me to get lazier or to get worse at what it is they're doing, right? And we just want to always hone our skills. So Eric Worre talks about people being amateurs, posers, amateurs, and professionals. And I'm not going to break them down completely tonight, but I'm just literally going to skip to the very first skill set that he talks about. I took notes on my phone. I don't have a PowerPoint. I just thought I would just speak to you from the notes and really encourage you guys, if you have the book, to let's just spend the next 2 months in our business honing our skills and getting better at it is. And not just learning these skills, let's really act out these skills and let's implement these skills. So skill number 1, according to Jim Rohn and Eric Worre and GoPro, is to find prospects. So we need to have the skill set to find prospects. Now, have we ever thought about that before? Like we think about finding prospects, but have we ever really thought that that's a skill? I don't think I've ever even thought about that being a skill. Even though I've read this book a few times, I've done trainings on it, but today to really just sit and we were in the car and I was like reading and taking notes and thinking, yes, it's a skill to find prospects. And I think we take finding prospects for granted. I think we just think it's something that's going to happen and that we're just going to casually go about our day without any intention, and the prospects are going to miraculously show up, right? It's not how it is. So a lot of people, when they start their business, they'll think about, who do I know? And think back to when you started. Like, I don't remember, you know, when I started, it's like, who do I know? Oh, I know these people, and I'm sure that you start to automatically think about who would love the product and who you'd love to do this business or who you think would be great. And just very quickly, we get very disappointed, right? Because the people that we think will do this don't, right? And then a lot of times we're surprised by the people that we think won't do this and won't buy, do. So people believe that if you know a lot of people, then you can have a lot of success in Arbonne or any network marketing business, right? And that if you don't know a lot of people, you don't have a chance. However, if finding prospects is a skill, then obviously that is something that we can change, right? Because just because you know a lot of people doesn't mean you're going to, I know people who have massive network, but they don't build a business because they're not good. They don't have that good skill set in connecting with people and doing asking and the way they're asking and all that. So when he talks about there are posers, amateurs, and professionals, posers do this when they start their business. They make a mental list. And when I read this, and I'm like, I've talked to people over my 10 years almost of doing Arbonne, and I know this is them. They make that mental list of 3 to 5 people who will join their business, and they're going to focus their entire future on the responses of those 3 to 5 people, right? Like, I know people who've had that list of people, whether it's even 10 people on their list, and they don't think of anybody outside of that list. And I know that I'm not going to say, I don't know if it's anybody on this call, but I know that there are lots of people who also have their list, even if they have 150 people on it, that they don't think they need to think outside that list. That they think it's these 150 people and only these, like the blinders are on, and it's only these people who are going to help me grow my massive business, right? 80% of people who join network marketing approach the task of building a business as a poser. 80%, so 8 out of 10 people come into this business thinking that their 3 to 5 people are going to build them a big business, which is why most people who do this quit or they don't build a big business, right? So 8 out of 10 make a mental list, and then they just see what happens, right? They never really set out to develop the necessary skills to build. Now, amateurs, instead of a small mental list, these people actually go and write out a list. They may make a list of 100 prospects, and they go out there with excitement, right? But not a lot of skill. And Eric Worre always says that. He goes, that's one problem with our industry, and sometimes that's what gives the industry a bad name. And I wouldn't change it, though, because I want people to go out there, even without the skill, and still actively try to build their business. But he said a lot of people will go out with excitement with not a lot of skill, and they begin to prospects, and their list begins to diminish. And as the list grows smaller and smaller, their anxiety levels start to grow higher. And their biggest fear is they're going to run out of people. Now, I've been an amateur. I know I've been there. I know I've been afraid to ask some people on my list because I was worried about my list being exhausted. And I'm someone who isn't shy to talk to strangers. I'm not someone who's shy to talk to people I just meet or to like randomly prospect someone on the street. I'm not shy of that, but I was still afraid to exhaust my list. I was holding people onto my list, right? Feeling like, no, I'm going to run out of people. And I know better. Like, I don't think that way anymore, but I would say about 3-4 years ago, I was that person. So do you feel like do you feel like I'm going to ask you, do you feel like everybody you know knows about what you're doing? I think a lot of time we think, they all know I do Arbonne already. Who the heck am I going to ask, right? Where am I going to find people now? And that can be scary for us if we start to think that way, right? So finding quality people to prospect is a skill. Now, professionals approach their business, right, in a way that they want to find people to talk to as one of their core skills. So they look for people to talk to that's a skill. Who can I talk to today to add to my list? And I want to ask you, when was the last time that you stepped outside your door thinking about who can I talk to today to add to my list? So one of Eric Worre's mentors, his mentor's father said this: starting today and for the rest of your life, I want you to take every single person you meet, get their contact information, and find a creative way to stay in touch. Right? I know in the 10 years that I've been doing Arbonne, I become a nicer person, partly because I wanted to meet more people. Right? I knew I needed to meet more people to grow my business and to expand my network. So I got better at small talk. I got better at genuinely caring about other people. I got better at asking questions. So I've gotten good. I will brag about myself. I was literally at Orange Theory last week, talking to a girl on the treadmill I've never met before. She was actually from Atlanta, visiting her family. Guys, did I even know her name? I think I knew her name just because I saw it on the screen. I don't remember if I knew her name. But as she was at like the front desk at the end chatting, I just said, hey, are you on social media? Are you on Instagram? Because I liked this girl's vibe. And I wanted to be able to connect with her about Arbonne. So we added each other on Instagram. And we're following, we're connecting, right? So you got to get creative at connecting with the people that you meet. And I personally think if you are active on social media, that connecting on your social media is a smart thing to do, because you can, drip on people via social media and you can get an idea of their life. Like I creep people I meet. I'll meet a hockey mom and then I'll go on Facebook and try to check out her profile, right? What is she like? What does she do? Who does she hang out with? What does she look like? Like, what is she, like I just dig deeper, right? So you want to, I'm going to read that quote again. Starting tomorrow, for all of us, let's take every person we meet, get their contact information, and find a creative way to stay in touch. How nice would it be if you connected with someone, you got their phone number or connected with them on social media, and every month or so you're sending them a message, hey, how's it going? I've been thinking about you, or hope things are going well. So there are 4 steps to improving our skill of finding prospects. So step 1 is going to be this. You want to make your list as comprehensive as possible. So I'm going to really encourage you guys at the beginning of a new year, start a fresh list, okay? Or rewrite your old list. Think of every single person you know. Now this is really important, guys. I want you to think, whether you think they are a prospect or not, even if they are somebody who has said to you, I will never buy your product and I will never join your business, you still write that person's name down on a piece of paper. Even if the person is 98 years old, right? You write their name on the list. All you want to do is really empty your mind, get names out of your head and onto paper. Okay, think about every organization you've been a part of, every group, every job you've had, anything you've done, go through your social media, go through your contacts on your phone, right? You're not required to prospect everybody on your list. That's not what we're asking you to do. We're just asking you to write down names at this point, okay? So you're gonna write down the names of everybody. Because guys, the more we can clear our head of people, because what happens is once we start writing down names, you start thinking about, oh yeah, and then they know her friend, and then you start really just brainstorming other people. And that's actually step 2. You start thinking about the 6 degrees of separation, right? Think about members of your family and your friends and coworkers. Who do they know? Think about your neighbors. So first write all the list of people you know, and then start brainstorming step 2 into the 6 degrees of separation. Who do they know? And put those people on a list. You do not have to prospect those people, right? You just need to get names on a list. You just need to get that kind of like the creative juices flowing of who do you know and who's in your network. Step 3 is you want to constantly expand your list. It never, ever, ever stops growing, right? The pros have a goal to add 2 people. So the professionals have a goal to add 2 people to their list every single day. And I want to ask you, when was the last time you met someone new? When was the last time you've added a name to your list? And this can be done in person. This can be done on social media. Like honestly, social media has made this easier to do, right? Not that it's easier to build your business and get the connection, like, getting the asking done that way and getting people to buy your product and join your business, but you're still expanding your network that way. All right. So every person you come in contact, write them on a list. Professionals develop a higher level of awareness, and I want you guys to really think about this. They have a higher level of awareness. They pay attention to the world. Posers and amateurs don't even notice the people around them. Like I will say that again, at times I fall back into that amateur, because I would say even parts of last year, I kind of stopped that prospecting. Like I was good for a long time at like speaking to strangers and getting like strangers' phone numbers, and near the end of last year, I was just doing it again, right? Going into, when I first went into Orange Theory, the girl at the front desk, 2 girls at the front desk, I got their phone numbers because I brought up, I think they were talking about protein powder or something. But have this level of like awareness, have their like this little signal on, and just listen for opportunities, listen for people who are in need of what we have. I was sitting with some hockey moms the other day, and one of them was talking about, work. Like she used to be a paramedic and she has 3 kids now, and she doesn't even know like where to start and what to do. And if she wants to get into that, she doesn't want to get back into that field. So right away, in my mind, she's somebody I will prospect this week. I will send her a message. also came up about putting weight on since, not losing all the weight that she's had after her 3 babies, right? So there's 2 things, a 30-day program and the opportunity for the business. So just really listen and like have that Arbonne radar on to see, like, who can I add to my list? Who is someone that I don't have to ask them today and I don't have to ask them this week, but there's someone I can build a relationship with. Julian's crying? Okay, I don't hear him, and I think he'll be okay. He'll settle down. He was out of his room? Where is he?
He's in his bed right now. He's walking around. He came into my room.
Okay. He's in his bedroom?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, guys. My son has night terrors, and lately he's been walking around when he has them. So he's in bed again. All right. So going back to, okay, professionals develop a higher sense of awareness. They pay attention to the world. Posers and amateurs don't even notice. So not saying you should pitch people as soon as you meet them, guys. Just add them to the list. Make friends with them. Develop a connection. And when it's the right time, help them understand what you offer. All right? It's not a hard sell. When it's the right time, help them understand what you offer. Step 4, network on purpose. Get out there, guys. Have fun. Find a new hobby. Join a new gym. Volunteer. Go to parties that you don't want to go to. When your friends invite you somewhere that you're going to have a chance to meet other people, go, because you have people to meet. You need to intentionally go out there to try to find people to be able to make a connection and to eventually offer what it is. And I'm almost embarrassed that I hadn't talked about skills at all last year, because as I'm going through this stuff, I'm like, this is good stuff. It's just such a good reminder that we need to be intentional about all this stuff, about honing our skills, getting better at these things, and just being on purpose when it comes to building our business and going out every day. And really, again, coming back to, I have exactly what you need. They just, you don't know it yet, right? They don't know it yet, guys. And they may not even know it once you bring it up with them. Like, there are so many people lately who, they talk about, what do you do? And they're like, oh, what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I do Arbonne full time. And because I've been doing it for a while, I just know that they're like, oh yeah, I know they don't know what the hell Arbonne is, right? But they don't say, what is it? Because I think they're a little embarrassed. Like, I've done that. Someone says that they do something, or they work at a certain place. I say, oh yeah, like, I understand what the hell they're saying. And sometimes I don't, but I don't dig deeper, right? But it's not my place to, sometimes I'll say, have you heard of it before? Or sometimes I'll just leave it and just work on building that relationship and the connection and save. And I'm intentional about, let's connect on social media, or let's exchange phone numbers, because I know it'll give me an opportunity in the future to reach out to them and connect with them. All right, so that's all I got. That's skill number 1, guys. Does anybody have questions about skill number 1? Isn't that a good refresher, though? All right, skill number 2, which will be next Sunday, is inviting prospects to understand your product or opportunity. All right, we're going to talk about that. Another thing we haven't talked about in so long, oh my gosh, is like, we're going to get so good at it this year, guys, is like how to do a coffee date. When was the last time we talked about how to do the skill of how to do a coffee date? How to tell someone about what it is you're doing. So at our region meeting next Wednesday, because I changed it from this Wednesday to next Wednesday, I'm going to talk about selling with stories, right? So stories that sell, stories that stick, stories that stick. But it is all about selling with stories and how to use stories to really share with people what it is that you have, instead of getting into the boring stuff of like our vegan protein and, our products do this, and, our 9, anti-aging properties and whatever else that it is. That gets boring for people, but how can we intrigue them with stories and connect with them emotionally? So we'll talk about that at our region meeting. For those who can't make it, I will, we can Zoom you in so you can have a listen. But again, let's pull out your books if you don't have them, if you have them at home. Let's reread this together. Let's get better. Let's practice the skill this week. Let's get out there, be intentional, add people to your list, add someone to your, I prefer that adding someone to my social media more than getting someone's phone number, to be honest, because sometimes I forget to even message the person that I get their phone number. But when then they pop up in my Facebook or Instagram, I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta touch base with that person again. So with that said, if anybody doesn't have any questions, is everybody doing the 30-day? Do you have people on it? Let's get people going all year, guys. Let's make this our best year yet with our nutrition. Talk to me, Linda. You're gonna say something?
No, I was just gonna, I don't know. So you changed the meeting to next Wednesday?
I had to change it to, yeah, I was saying that Denise's sister's coming in from Timmins.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, so I'll post it right now. I'll just change the date. Yeah, so let me stop. So she